Greetings and welcome to the Home Slice. I bet you're wondering why I'm sitting in a lazy boy armchair outside randomly. And you know what? I'll tell you at the end of the video. But today we have our latest installment of the Skrama versus everything battle. For those of you who are just tuning in, this is a Terava Skrama. It is sold by a Finnish website called Verustelica. It's made of 80 CRV2 steel, and it's there shot at a multi-purpose pack bushcraft chopper. I've wanted one of these for a long time, and I've done a lot of testing and a lot of tournaments with chopping blades against one another, so I thought, how fun would it be to face off the Skrama against all the winners from my other tournaments. And today we have a Bladesports designed custom chopper in 5160, donated for the channel use by my friend Andrew Van. This is what the bad boy looks like. I'm sorry, Andrew, I was chopping without the lanyard around my wrist and it flew in front of the blade and cut it. At this point in the series, the Skrama has bested the Becker, my K-Bar Becker BK7, not in a chopping tournament, but the Becker actually won a tournament of chopping that was measuring edge retention. Which of the steels in which of the knife designs held an edge the best in a wood chopping application. That said, my K-Bar Becker won in that against 15 other blades, many of them high quality, a few of them were just kind of jokes. But I put it up against the Skrama and it actually was bested by a good margin by this 80 CRV2 blade steel, mainly because the 80 CRV2 did not develop a chip, and in the use that I did of the Becker, it did develop a chip which shot up to 700 grams on a best machine. This thing is sitting at about 199 grams on a best machine after being worked for 2 hours and stropped only on unloaded leather, about 35 strokes on each side. It's shaving a couple hairs off, not clean shaving, but pretty stinking good for 2 hours of use. I don't know if you can see. Hopefully you can see. It's taking hairs off. It's shaving clean patches after 2 hours of use, which is pretty phenomenal. It also conquered the Condor Scout axe, which I custom reprofiled in 1045 steel. That axe ended up being the winner of our chop penetration, our axe penetration measurement series, where I chopped axes in, pencil marked them, and measured how far they had gone in. If you want to check out that episode, I'll have a link at the end of the video. But here we are, bringing it against this custom Bladesports style chopper. This chopper was conceived by my friend Andrew, and it was created by a bladesmith that he knew in South Africa when he lived there. It's made out of 5160 steel, a real big hefty chunk. It's got a very thin convex and very, very good penetration, and this will be an interesting test. The reason that I'm doing this one next is because we're going in ascending size against blades that will be more and more efficient and bigger and bigger. So this is the next in line, and the two they feel roughly close to the same weight. Bladesports chopper feels a little bit heavier. Obviously, we've got a high flat grind that goes to a bit of a convex secondary, and then there's kind of a micro bevel on that for like a sort of a third grind angle, where the Skrama is more of a, I guess I call it a saber grind with a very thin edge. If you want the sharpening information for this guy, I will put it at the end of the video. It was a little bit difficult to get it down. Usually I try to get them down under 100 best, but after several attempts, I got this one down into the 120s and 130s, and I decided that on diamond with 5160 at this time, that's all I was going to be able to do. It's a very keen edge, definitely sharper and fresher than the Skrama, so we'll take that into account as we use it. What is this leg of the blade competition going to be decided by, I guess you might ask? Because the first one was on edge retention, because the Becker was the champion for that. The second one was for chop penetration per ounce of pack weight, because the Condor Scout was the winner for that. This one and all the rest of them, I'm going to say on overall design and efficiency. It'll be a little bit more subjective, but we're going to put them each to 1 hour of use, and I'm going to give my honest thoughts at the end of which blade I like better. Now, if the Skrama wins this one, I'm going to consider it a success, because I said from the beginning, if it wins against more than half of the blades that have won an entire tournament on their own, I'm going to consider it a success. So, high stakes for this one, and we'll see how it goes. For those of you who are new to this series, please keep in mind that I'm here in New Zealand. I'm chopping down invasive plants. They include gorse and woolly nightshade. They're taking over this land, which we want to repopulate with native plants. I'm not just chopping down trees for fun. It's actually part of a purposeful project, and there's really remote, difficult to reach locations where it's difficult to pack chainsaws and whatnot. That's part of the reason for the work that I'm doing. And I just figure, why not test out some steels and blade designs while we're at it, right?
Wild was the winter, she had strength left within her. Ground grew colder and covered in white. Woods wept and shivered, they were raised for their timber. If they could, they would run for their life. You were home and warm. We were wild and to chase down my demons, whittling down to the wire. The only solution was your whispered revolution, sparking the forest on fire. And you were in the flames. The wild was being tamed. Oh,
All right, I'm out here in the field. Because this is an efficiency test, I don't really need the best numbers of the measurements to make the call. And I have made my decision. I will try to take a best measurement and put it after this so that you guys know how sharp they stayed. Here's my conclusion on these two wonderful blades. This is like a design masterpiece. This competition chopper is awesome. I just sort of wrist flicked each of these into this downed tree just to set them up to display for the video. And you can see they both went in exactly the same amount. Great, great, great penetration. Very well designed, Andrew. You did a good job on this blade. On overall cutting power, I would say they're neck and neck. They both work wonderfully. I'd say if I had to make a call, that the competition chopper bites just a hair deeper, but the Skrama ejects chips quite a bit better. And so they're kind of on pretty equal footing in terms of efficiency. I prefer to use the Skrama because it's nice if you got a big tree for that chopping surface to self-clear so that you can get the next chop deeper. But very, 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 very close. Very good performers. Amazing knives, both of these. I'm going to have to give the win to the Skrama for 4 reasons. Number 1, this is its 3rd hour of chopping, and I cannot tell a difference in sharpness between this freshly sharpened blade and this Skrama. That's a bit unfair because maybe this one would do the same thing, but I have to give a slight lean toward the Skrama winning this in terms of edge retention. Number 2, you can get better speed on the Skrama because even though the weights are similar, you can get slightly better speed for cutting through small and flexible things with the Skrama because of the extra length, and I really like that. Number 3, this handle is contoured beautifully but very hard, and the shock from bludgeoning into, chopping into a large tree goes directly into your hand somewhat. So there is a reason these rubber over molded, injection molded designs are used in a lot of chopping knives. It really does absorb a lot of that shock for you and make it more comfortable in the hand. And number 4 is something that I already noted, that this ejects chips really, really well while biting about equivalent, almost as deep anyway, as a competition designed chopper. I guess I'll throw in a bonus 5th reason that's not related to performance, but you don't have to go to a bladesmith nearby or in South Africa to get a Skrama. And they're not that expensive. You can just order them on Veristelica.com. So availability is kind of the cherry on top. I'm gonna declare the Skrama the winner. What this means is that the Skrama has succeeded, at least in the bar that I set for this gauntlet Skrama versus everything challenge. However, I don't know if it's gonna survive against the last 2 blades because they're monsters. And if you guys have been following along my previous chopping tournaments, you know what I'm talking about. The last note I have to say is that during all of this testing, for all of this time, I've had a few mild, small to medium-sized trees fall on my DJI Osmo Action camera. But I'm going to give you a reverse view right now because today, for the first time, I actually chopped it with the Skrama. This is a view from my phone right now as we film, and you can see the blade path came through here and kind of skimmed off. It actually missed all the metal of the camera, and it didn't harm the body of the camera at all. It just sort of skimmed through and cut actually quite cleanly through that plastic injection molded case. Case may be shot now. The thing is, guys, I'm not kidding. I can't find the blade damage where it happened. I will update this video if I find significant edge damage, but look at this for yourself, okay? I know it's not the closest. There's a little bit of oxidation on there. There's some darker spots, but guys, like, I can't see a thing. I can't see that it got damaged. I actually, in the same video sequence, I took a little chunk of the plastic off the top, and on the back swing, I hit the stainless steel tubing leg of the tripod. So I really abused this Skrama blade an inappropriate and accidental amount today. And guys, I can't even tell. I will tell you this. This is what I'll tell you. I love ADCR V2 in a good heat treatment because this thing rocks. Okay, if you've made it this far in the video, literally the organization that I work for just cleaned up some furniture that is not needed anymore or broken, and I'm sitting in front of our storage shed. This stuff is about to go to the dump, and that's why I'm sitting in a lazy boy in the middle of nowhere. But because you made it this far in the video, I'm going to reward you with something, because no piece of furniture, I feel, that's just going to get thrown out into the landfill anyway, should go to the landfill without a little bit of knife throwing practice. This week I'm carrying my wife's Kershaw leek, and so that will be our test subject. Maybe we'll put it in slow motion, because you made it this far in the video. You deserve some satisfying footage. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Skrama versus Everything. If you want to see the last episode where it took on a customized Condor Scout axe, I'll put the link on screen. Otherwise, I'll say peace out from the home slice. Take care. Bye.